Welcome to Master 2255 English Phrasal Verbs, complete course with 150 categories for fluency. This course is your ultimate guide to mastering English phrasal verbs in every context. Today, we're focusing on the 51st category, phrasal verbs for planning and deadlines. Get organized. These verbs are essential for managing tasks, meeting deadlines, and staying on top of your schedule. Let's get started. First, let's begin with plan ahead. This phrasal verb means to prepare for something in advance. For example, it's always a good idea to plan ahead for big projects, or they plan ahead to avoid any last-minute stress. Next is set up. This refers to arranging or organizing something. You might say, we need to set up a meeting with the team, or she set up the schedule for the next quarter. Put off means to delay or postpone something. For instance, they put off the presentation until next week, or stop putting off your assignments and get started. Draw up describes creating a formal plan or document. You could say, she drew up a detailed timeline for the event, or let's draw up a list of priorities before we begin. Lay out refers to arranging or outlining something clearly. For example, he laid out the plan during the meeting, or she's laying out the tasks for the new project. Map out means to plan something in detail. You might hear they mapped out the strategy for the product launch, or let's map out the steps we need to take to finish on time. Follow through describes completing something you've started or committed to. For instance, it's important to follow through with your promises, or they followed through on their plan and met the deadline. Carry out means to execute or implement a plan or task. You could say, the team carried out the project efficiently, or she's carrying out the final stages of the proposal. Run out of refers to using up all of a resource like time or materials. For example, we're running out of time to finish this report, or they ran out of supplies halfway through the project. Push back means to delay or reschedule something to a later time. You might say, they pushed back the deadline due to unexpected challenges, or the launch date has been pushed back by 2 weeks. Hold off describes delaying an action or decision. For instance, they decided to hold off on hiring new staff, or let's hold off on finalizing the details until we have more information. Bring forward means to move something to an earlier date or time. You could say, they brought forward the meeting to accommodate everyone's schedules, or the deadline was brought forward due to new priorities. Wrap up refers to finishing or concluding something. For example, let's wrap up this discussion and move on to the next topic, or they wrapped up the project ahead of schedule. Get around to means to finally do something after delaying it. You might hear, I need to get around to organizing my files, or they finally got around to addressing the customer complaints. Finally, stick to means to follow or adhere to a plan or schedule. For instance, if we stick to the timeline, we'll finish on time, or he always sticks to his goals, no matter what. These phrasal verbs are crucial for discussing planning and managing deadlines effectively. Practice using them in conversations about projects and schedules, and they'll soon become second nature. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.